Hello world. I hope this video finds everybody doing good under the sound of my voice. I hope it finds you blessed and highly favored. And if you woke up to see today, I hope you thank God for today, and we gonna live it day by day. Hello world. Today I want to touch on the topic I chose. You can be touched. And I chose this topic because, I know a lot of people move around. A lot of us men, we can do a lot of the wrong things, female and men, and we think like we can't be touched. And I was using the word touch like it could be like in a bad way, because like sometimes we moving around and doing some of the wrong things. We think like things can't happen to us. And I chose the topic, you could be touched. And I want to use myself for example. And I was just thinking on the terminology, you could be touched. And I get it from the late Tupac Shakur. He made a song, you could be touched. And I want to just touch on it in a good way, because like it helped me out just knowing exactly what he was really saying. And like I say, for instance, like when I was doing some of the wrong things, like my drug selling addiction, I could have been touched, because I knew a lot of people that did what I did. Touch means like I could have lost my life behind doing what I was doing. I just want to wake some people up that's doing some things that I probably did, and I always I tell people that I want to use this platform here to try to help somebody out along the way. Because I do know that boss sense is the best sense, and some of the things I went through, I can help some others. And I came up with the topic, you can be touched, because I don't seem like when people was doing some of the same things I was doing, they not here to tell the story. So it's my duty to tell the story, because I want to help somebody out along the way. And I came with the topic, you could be touched, because when I was out doing what I was doing, like I said, I had an addiction selling drugs. And I do know that while I was out doing what I was doing, I did get touched, because I got I got in trouble. I got in trouble for I went to prison, I got robbed, and I got shot. So I encountered three things where each one of them I could have pretty much lost my life. In jail I could have died. When I got robbed, I could have died. And when I got shot, I could have died. So you want to know, you could be touched. Somebody could still do you some bodily harm out here. So if you floating around doing some things and think like you can't be touched, I'm here to beg the difference, because, I got touched in three different ways. I got touched when I went to prison. I got touched when, I got robbed. I got touched when I got shot. And the flip side about that is reason why I want to bring this topic, you could be touched, is because the fact that I went to jail, I encountered the jail experience. I made it out safely, but the person that robbed me later on down the road, he didn't stop the robbery. He went down the road and shot and killed 2 people, and now he's doing life in prison. And thirdly, the person that shot me later down the road, he got shot. He's no longer here. So I came up with the topic, you could be touched, because the people that did me the bodily harm, I went to prison. God, he allowed me to come out of that. The person that robbed me, he went down the road and shot and killed 2 people. So he's spending the rest of his life in jail for murder in 2 people. And thirdly, the person that shot me, he got shot along the road, down the road. And that's why I came with the topic. Yes, you can be touched, because because you're not just, it can happen to anyone. Ain't nobody exempt from being touched. So that's why I came with this topic, because, when we doing some things that's wrong, and, I just thank God that, I was touched in a way that he still opened my eyes up to some things. I was touched to a certain degree to where he didn't take my life. But I did tell you that 2 different situations where people lost their lives. One lost their life to a prison sentence, and another one lost his life to a gunshot wound. So, but I was just saying like how he kept me. And I was touched in a different way, because, once I encountered the touch from God, that's why I say the terminology, you could be touched. I was touched in 2 different ways, but the touch that I got from God it was different from any other touch that I ever received. because once he touched me, he started making me realize that, hey, where he brought me from, my prison encounter, when I got robbed, when I got shot. He started me, when he started exposing the things that I probably did that probably could have cost me my life, that touch, it started making me realize how grateful I was and how he had delivered me from those things happening to me. Because, you can be touched, but I was touched in a way, but when God touched me, I was no longer the same. So and that's why I chose the topic, you can be touched. So if you're floating around out here, you're doing some of the wrong things, I just want to let you know that, God has grace and mercy on us, and we know we do that, but everybody don't slip through the cracks. Somebody gonna lose their lives behind some of the things that we doing. So I just want to wake some people up, because, if you encounter that one touch from him, you'll start doing things differently. And, you don't know where you've been. Like I said, I done been to jail, I've been robbed, and I've been shot. I've been through 3 critical things that people probably look at me on this podcast and say, like, why he touching on what he touching on? Why he clutching on what he doing? And why he got this going? Because you don't know what I've been through. You don't know how God delivered me. And then, I got to go biblical on some people, man. Had a lady with an issue. She heard God was coming to town, and she fought her way through the crowd. And she was saying to herself, I just get one touch. And when she fought her way through the crowd, she touched her, she poured him a God's garment. And it drained him from some kind of energy. Because he said, like, he knew that touch was unusual. So he was like, hey, who touched me? He wanted to know, because and that woman made herself known, because she knew that she had an issue. And when God touched her, he made her whole. So, just that one touch from God made me whole. Because I chose this because I know there's some people out there listening to me. They don't went through encounters just like I went through encounters. They probably had the prison. They may not have had as many encounters, but I had the prison encounter. I had the robbery encounter. I had the gunshot wound encounter. Before you start realizing that, hey, we searching for that one touch. We trying to get to God so we can pull him in his garment, so we can get there, so he can touch us and make us whole. Because if he delivered you from all those different things, it's time out for all the foolishness. It's time out for just to start doing some things that's going to really help some people out along the way, because he spared your life for a particular reason. And I do know that when you see me sitting behind here, like I'm doing what I'm doing, everybody, like I said, you don't know what I've been through. You just see me one way. You didn't know about my jailhouse experience. You may not have knew about I got robbed. You may not have knew about I got shot, but God did. And, and God, he allowed me just to be able to do what I'm doing here. And I hope I can reach and teach and wake some people up on you could be touched. Because if you out here floating around doing some of the wrong things, don't think it can't happen to you. Because it can happen to you just as well as it happened to the other 2 I told you about. The one that's incarcerated because he didn't stop the robbery. He went up the road and robbed somebody else. And the person that shot me, he's no longer around to tell the story. And people wonder why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because you don't know the grace, how God showed me mercy. You don't know what he done brought me through. So, and clearly you don't know what I've been through. But only he knows that. And I do know that he want me to do exactly what I'm doing. Because, I don't worry about what people say or do, because he hold me in the hollow of his hands. And can't nobody do nothing with me. Because once I got that one touch from him, yes, you could be touched, but when you get touched by him, it's gonna serve as a crucial impact, because you're gonna know you different, you're gonna know you peculiar, you're gonna know that you can withstand when anybody talk about you, anybody can do you anything, because you don't worry about none of that, because you know who hold you in the hollow of his hands. And that one touch there it beats any touch that you can ever be touched with. Now I just want to drop this on somebody, because you can be touched. So if you out here doing some of the wrong things and you think like it can't happen to you, because I know some credibles that don't got touched. And I do know that God probably got their attention in certain areas, but they didn't take heed to what he probably was trying to show them. So this message here is for the people that think it can't happen to you. And, because it happened to me, but by the grace of God, he spared my life. And I shared with you what I've been through. I've been to prison, I've been robbed, and I've been shot. Any one of those things could have cost me my life. And people, and I stress to people, they wonder why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's because I've been touched. You know, you can be touched because, you know, in two different ways. You could be touched out in the streets when you're doing and dealing and dabbling and doing the things that you're doing. But when God bring you the realization, you cut that in half. It's another side of being touched, because when you get touched by him, you're no longer the same. And you're supposed to do the things that's required to try to wake some people up, you know, because you could be touched. You know, and I just showed you the two different things. You could be touched as far as the streets, as far as doing what you're doing, because, you know, you ain't got no protection on that side. But when you cross over and go into the other lane and get that touch from him, you no longer the same. You know, so that's why I'm probably doing what I'm doing, because I've been touched. And I've been touched by somebody that you can't do nothing with me, and because I know he gonna hold me, and he gonna make sure I'm okay. And can't nobody harm me in no kind of way, because, you know, that touch from him, it made me whole. You know, and I just want to drop this on somebody, because you could be touched. And I just want to share this with somebody, because somebody thought somebody needed it. And, you know, I just want to encourage somebody, man, that's out there that's doing some of the wrong things. You know, I just want you to take this message into consideration, because, you know, God put it on my heart. And when he put it on my heart, you know, I had to go strictly with my move, because, you know, I just want to do everything that he wanted me to do. And I do know that I'm going to use this platform to do so. And I thank God for this message. I thank God for everybody listening in. But I want to encourage somebody to do something different than what you did yesterday. I want you to call somebody and check on them. If you hadn't checked on them in a while, they might need to hear your voice. And I always say that the world is not centered just around you. You have to deny yourself for someone else. That's the only way this thing gonna work. And I want to encourage everybody listening in to keep your eyes on the prize, which is him, and be blessed till the next time.